All right, in today's hand, we're going to go over how to know when to move all in and what to look for. So I have pocket jacks and I'm in the big blind. The blinds are 300, 600, and the action starts under the gun. So one of the things I'm looking for here are the stack sizes of all my opponents. I know if a player has 20 big blinds or less, then they will probably be moving all in. In some instances, they will just raise. So at this table, you can see the 8,000 stack is the only one besides the small blind that has the potential to move all in. So the action folds around to the button, who has 60,000 chips, which is a pretty large stack according to the poker model. 12,000 and below would be a small stack. Between 12,000 and 30,000 would be a medium stack. And then having 30 to or above is a large stack. So we break it down based on big blinds. All right, so I have pocket jacks, which is a pretty good starting hand here. All the action folded. And we can see here that the the dealer raised to 1,200. So when the dealer raises to 1,200 with no previous action, you can start to think that he may have a good hand, but there's also a lot of hands that are not very good that he could be raising with. And the reason for that is he could just be trying to steal the blinds. So when he goes to 1,200, he might be thinking, all right, there's only two players to my left, and if they're not, if they don't have a good hand, then they're just going to fold. So we can see that the raise is made there, and the action is on the small blind. And now the small blind moves all in for 12,000. Now I'm sitting here with pocket jacks, and it's a pretty obvious call. For me, I'd just be moving all in to get all my chips in and get the remaining 8,000 in. But the reason for that is we can assume that the original raise is light. That's what they say, light, when it could be like a weaker hand or a wider range of hands. So we know now that the small blind is aware of that also. So the small blind sees a light raise from the button and says, okay, well, I can probably go all in here. And a lot of the hands that the original raiser might have that could be beating my hand might actually be weak and he might just fold. So from this position, you're thinking, I might just be going all in over the top here and winning. So I might not need a very strong hand. At the poker model, we would say that you have to have, a pocket pair higher than 8, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, maybe even ace 10 here, but you'd be folding all other hands. But most players have a much wider range than we do. But now I'm sitting here with pocket jacks, and a lot of times people might be thinking this is a raise and then an all in, and I'm sitting here with pocket jacks. But because it's happening on the button, where it's a pretty obvious place to try to steal the blinds, and the small blind is the one going all in, who probably has a good understanding of that and might just be trying to steal that original raise, pocket jack should be dominating really both of these hands in this situation. So for that reason, I move all in. And you can see that the original raiser folds, so he probably had like a light hand and he was just trying to steal the blinds. And because the small blind was already all in, we get to flip our cards and go through the rest of the hand. You can see that he had pocket sevens, which is a hand that pocket jacks is dominating. So when the money goes in, I'm 80% to win the hand here. And as the cards run out, nothing helps, and I win with pocket jacks. So the biggest takeaway here is understanding the ranges of hands that players will move all in with, knowing that a raise from the button is technically a lighter raise with no action in front of it, and an all-in from the small blind might not be as serious or as big of a hand as it would be from different seats. If you have other questions, you can leave messages below, and we look forward to helping you out in a future hand.